that we can nevertheless fall under the ICC, under the generic rubric of international humanitarian law. So it doesn't matter whether you sign or do not sign, whether
Yes, ma'am.
you ratify
It
or
doesn't
do not
matter, ma'am.
ratify.
It doesn't
makes no
matter.
difference.
That doesn't make any difference anymore.
Are you certain?
I'm certain.
Okay, Attorney Saret, please, from DFA. Is that the position of the DFA?
Madam Chair, I concur with my USEC, the current acting SFA, that as far as we are concerned, we're no longer members of the ICC, ma'am.
And as non-members, can we possibly fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC under the rubric of international humanitarian law? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I think, because we, under the...
What's the use of signing or ratifying a treaty if it bears no weight?
Yes, I defer, ma'am, to Secretary Remulla.
May I?
This one, ma'am.
I think it's your purview, your DFA.
Yes, ma'am. But yes, ma'am, technically we are no longer a member of the ICC, but we might be obligated under residual jurisdiction as what the Supreme Court in one case already mentioned, that we still have residual jurisdiction. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam Chair, if I may.
I'm a little bit perplexed given that you are part of the executive. The president has said, as he said for the 100th time, that we are not under the ICC. Why is the SOJ now saying that we are nevertheless, somehow, in some miraculous way, under the rubric of the international humanitarian law, still under its jurisdiction?
Your Honor, it is not the Philippines that is under the jurisdiction. It is the individuals who are charged by the ICC, which is under the jurisdiction. There is a distinction, ma'am.
Please explain.
As non-members of the ICC, and as a state, the ICC has no jurisdiction over us as a country. But over the individuals who may have committed crimes that violate international humanitarian law, that is a universal value being held by the whole world today. That people cannot cross borders and hide behind boundaries so that they can run away from the law. International humanitarian law is something adopted. The principles are adopted by more than 150 countries throughout the world, Your Honor.
Are you of the position, therefore, that international humanitarian law, as you said, is customary law? Is that the consideration?
It is already customary law now. As we speak, it has become customary law throughout the world.
Are you aware that procedural and admin matters do not form part of customary law? Surely the Secretary is well aware that procedural and administrative matters will still have to comply with the laws of the land.
Of course, Madam, this goes without saying.
Okay, thank you. Senator Jinggoy, I think you wanted to interject at this juncture. We recognize the Senator.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. The DFA, the DOJ, the DILG, and the PNP has already admitted that we are not members of the Philippines is not a member of the ICC. Therefore, why did we surrender a Filipino citizen before the ICC? Anyone can answer, Madam Chair.
We surrendered an individual to the ICC who was a subject of a warrant of arrest. That's what we did.
I did not hear you again.
Mr. Senator, we surrendered an individual to the ICC. We did not surrender as a country, but he was surrendered due to a warrant of arrest issued by the ICC through the Interpol.
Senator Jinggoy, any follow-up questions, please? Thank you. If that's the case, while we've attempted to retrieve Senator Jinggoy, let me just pursue the question of the international humanitarian law being customary law. Since procedural and administrative matters do not fall under customary law. ICC processes, therefore, are not part and parcel.
Madam Chair, the distinction of the ICC process of issuing a warrant of arrest is something accepted through a treaty, the International Police Organization.
You have just contradicted yourself, sir. You said it was customary, and now you're saying it's by treaty. Clearly,
we can be very
humanitarian
technical
law-
about it, ma'am.
Sorry.
But we can be very technical about it if you wish to be. But the fact is, it is our accession to the Interpol which made all of this possible.
We will go to the Interpol later. Let us discuss the ICC at this juncture. So, while I will go with you for the sake of argument that the IHL, or International Humanitarian Law, has now become accepted as part of international customary law, I am unable to accept that ICC processes and administrative procedures as well are now part of customary law. I don't think so.
The processes are not part of customary law. We have our own administrative processes. If you ask me about this, Madam, we can say that the IHL is the domestic law that we followed in recognizing the warrant of arrest issued against Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Which domestic law and process did
Republic Act 9851, Your Honor.
as mentioned previously?
Yes, as mentioned previously, and within the provisions allows us two options, either extradition or surrender. We chose the executive mode, which is surrender.
We will go to that later, but at this juncture, therefore, I get an acceptance from the Secretary that, in fact, the processes that should have prevailed should have been those stipulated under RA 9851 or our own local law.
We follow the process, ma'am.
Thank you. So that's correct. On the same day, if I may proceed, the President also said, I do not see what its jurisdiction is, referring once again to the ICC. Can we bring back the video? I think there is a statement there. I feel that we have in our police and judiciary a good system. We do not need assistance from any outside entity. Again, as part of the executive department, you have subscribed to this view, I assume.
Yes, madam.
So to clarify, the statement means that the President was not recognizing the jurisdiction of the ICC over the crimes allegedly committed by the former President. Is that correct?
We do not recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC over our country. What we recognize is the jurisdiction of the ICC over individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law by committing murder and other heinous crimes.
If I may, I think the President was referring to the jurisdiction of the ICC over crimes, specifically crimes committed by Fprrd. Isn't that so?
Can you rephrase your question, ma'am?
Well, you said that while the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines as a state, it maintains jurisdiction over individuals and crimes under
Yes,
the
ma'am.
international humanitarian order.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. What the President said is that there is no jurisdiction over the crimes committed by the former President.
Well,
Because we have a functioning police and judiciary system. Unless you submit that we don't.
submit that we don't what, ma'am?
That we don't have a functioning police force.
We have a functioning
or
police
a
force.
judiciary.
We have a judiciary. But what we are dealing with here
You're
is crimes
contradicting your
committed
president,
14 years
Secretary.
ago to 2019. We're talking about a timeline, Your Honor, that we were not even here yet, and that it was very hard. Ma'am, may I continue?
Yes, carry on.
Well,
yes.
it was very difficult for us. We made our
No, the
commitments.
President made it very clear.
We
have
made our
a functioning-
commitments to the United Nations that we would investigate all of these crimes committed during the drug war. And it was not a very easy task, ma'am, because the people that we expect to be cooperating with us were not. So, although we're still doing our investigations on the EJ case, on the extrajudicial killings committed during that time.
Yes, I'm not reviewing the drug war. This is a Foreign Relations Committee hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
But in this statement, the President clearly means jurisdiction over individuals. It's very, very clear. There's no area for quibbling. And if you say there's jurisdiction over individuals, I don't believe that you are in agreement with your president. As a matter of fact, the ICC does not try countries, after all. They do try
Our
individuals,
views
however.
evolved during times, at times. And I don't
So you
know
do admit
if he
that
still
you-
has the same view up to today, because we are talking about a clip which was done 1.5 years ago. Our minds can change, ma'am. We cannot just stay in one rut and say that this is the absolute, because our minds may change, and we are allowed that by the law of man and the law of God.
Yes, of course. Of course, we all change our minds, and Mr. Secretary. So you are saying that the President changed his mind?
Well,
When did he
I
change
cannot
his
speak
mind?
for him, Madam. I cannot speak for him. Your conclusions are really your own, and I cannot adopt your conclusions here.
They're not my conclusions. It's a bold statement, which really...
Well, your
does not-
statements of belief are your own, ma'am. I cannot adapt to your statements of belief, but I respect them.
The statement of the President is very, very clear-cut. I would like to show also a letter in December of 2023. Do we have it on hand? Can you enlarge it so that it's much clearer? Okay. On screen is a letter dated 15 December 2023 addressed to Vice President Sara Duterte, where the President says that the jurisdiction of the ICC over the Republic after the effectivity of its withdrawal is very much in question, and I'm certain that all the members will echo my views on the matter. Would you like to comment? Anyone would like to comment on the said letter? Is it correct that if this was in fact a work in progress, as stated by Secretary Remulla, as of 15 December 2023, all the secretaries and undersecretaries already holding such positions at that time also viewed the ICC as having no jurisdiction over the country, as stated by the President himself in the letter?
We did not assist the ICC, ma'am. We continued with the very tenor of the letter, that we did not assist the ICC. We never had contact with them.
We'll go
The
there.
investigation that they conducted was through their own methods, and we did not in any way assist them. As said in your letter, we cannot.
It's
we
not
did
my
not.
letter, sir, it's the President's.
It's a President's letter. We did not assist them.